The death of an inmate at the Pima County Jail last October has now been ruled an accident, but it raises new questions about how it could have happened. News 4 Tucson's Lupita Murillo has the latest on this ongoing investigation.
22-year-old Jacob Miranda was booked into the jail on an armed robbery charge in December of 2020. Because of his criminal history, he was being held without bond, but Miranda never got his day in court. He died of a drug overdose 10 months later.
Yeah, a young man dies of drug overdose in our facility. Yeah, shouldn't happen.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos tells the News 4 Tucson investigators his department still isn't sure exactly how Jacob Miranda was able to get his hands on the drugs, a lethal dose of fentanyl that took his life the night of October 11th, 2021. Investigators say a corrections officer was performing rounds at the jail when they found Miranda unresponsive in his cell. Deputies tried to resuscitate him, but the fentanyl had already taken his life.
It's a failure. We missed it somewhere. And for this individual to get a hold of it and overdose on it, yeah, so it is a failure.
According to an autopsy report from the Pima County Medical Examiner, the drug was the only illegal substance in Miranda's body at the time of his death. Sheriff Nano says for corrections officers, keeping fentanyl and other dangerous drugs out of the jail is a never-ending battle.
We can do everything, try everything we can to stop drugs from coming into that facility, and they still happen.
Sheriff Nanos also tells us corrections officers use everything from x-rays to drug-sniffing dogs to stay one step ahead of inmates who bring drugs, including fentanyl, with them behind bars. But
we're talking about somebody's ability to smuggle into that facility a pea-sized pill. How do you stop that?
Nobody wants fentanyl or fentanyl-laced drugs inside the facility because it's just as dangerous for staff.
Sean Stewart is a retired Sheriff's Department captain who spent 30 years working in corrections and now works for the National Institute for Jail Operations. He says the problem of drugs coming into jail isn't just a problem in Pima County, and it's not related to staffing, but rather it's due to the opioid epidemic that's happening across the country.
I don't think it really has anything to do with the pandemic. It's more of, if the pandemic went away today, the fentanyl and opioid issue would continue.
Sheriff Nanos tells us Miranda's death was one of at least 3 overdoses last year. A final report on the case is expected within the next few weeks. And if you have something you'd like the News 4 Tucson investigators to look into, email us at investigators@KVOA.com or call the News 4 Tucson investigators tip line at 955-4444. Investigating for you, Lupita Murillo, News 4 Tucson.